I was standing there in the council, championing young people's voices, and at the end of my question, every single councillor stood up and applauded me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our latest episode of Pioneers Pathway Podcast. I've introduced me and my co-host so many times now, so I'm sure you know our names, but to any new listeners out there, my name's Liam, and I'm joined by my good friend Sharia. Sharia, how are you doing? All good?
All good, Liam, all good. How are you? How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been good, and it's nice to be back on talking about some really interesting things today, and we're super excited to welcome our guest, Mathew. Mathew, how are you doing? Are you all good?
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Good. Good. You're in the UK, bright and early in the UK, so hopefully we didn't wake you up too early.
No, it's not a problem. I'm always happy to be out anyway, so...
Perfect. So Mathew, are you able? Me and Sharia could give an introduction to you, but I always think it's best to come from the actual person itself. So, are you able to give our listeners a bit of a introduction to yourself, where you come from, what you're doing these days, and sort of your life story in a nutshell, really.
Oh, blimey, right? Okay, how long have we got? So I'm Mathew Goodwin-Freeman. I'm a councillor in Harrow in London. I work for a member of Parliament called Bob Blackman, and I'm a campaign manager. And recently I ran the election campaign at the general election, which was the best result of the night for my party, which is the Conservative Party. We got the best result of the night, getting over 50% of the vote, increasing the majority on a night where seats were being absolutely decimated. And after that, I decided to set up a campaign company called Get Elected, bringing together some of the best and brightest ideas and minds, and we are now up and running. We're running more campaigns, winning more elections, bucking the trend, and recently I decided to put it all together in a book, and so I've published my first book, which is called A Blueprint. So it's been a whirlwind of a year, you can imagine.
Perfect. No, that's amazing, and concise way of showing so much you've done. So really, going back to the start, you were born and raised in Harrow, or like West London area. What was it like at school growing up? Were you always interested in politics? Is this always the route you wanted to go down?
Yeah, our family was the politics family. We would always have those political debates around the dinner table. My granddad was sort of my inspiration and role model. He was the politics mind. Whatever he said goes. He chaired the early debates, you can imagine. Christmas was always fun around ours. But yeah, so going through school, I was part of school council. And then I decided to get involved in the Harrow Youth Parliament, which took place after schools, where students from the local area could get together, start championing policies that they cared about, and really trying to be local voices. And I think that's what gave me the political bug.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And so obviously you did your schooling and then you went to university. Did you study politics there?
Yep, of course. So went off to university and studied politics. Did politics and IR, really met some fantastic professors. I didn't mind being the only person in the class who had a different opinion, was happy to hold my own and have those debates and discussions. University's an interesting place. Stood for the student union at university, ran the societies, things like that. And yeah, really wanted to get out and get on with politics, get into an election, be elected myself as a councillor afterwards, and just hit the ground running.
So was that the first thing you did after leaving university, was running for council the first thing?
Yeah, literally straight after university, my local area had elections, so I put myself forward. I got selected in one of our safest seats. I fought that election, won it, helped make sure we won control of the council, and I've been going ever since, every day going to different events, every day going to, more and more community engagement, things like that. I now can't walk down the street without someone stopping me and recognising me, saying, "Oh, you're Mathew, you're our local councillor," things like that. I genuinely love it. It's not a full-time job. People think that local councillors are like members of parliament. It's completely different. A local councillor can do as little as 3 hours a week or 36 hours a week. You still get paid the basic, councillor allowance. So it is not a full-time job at all. But I'm very lucky that I work for the local MP. I am the local councillor, and I am young, proactive, live in the area I represent. So, you know, the street out there is my street, as well as where I've got to look after. So, yeah, it works really, really well, and I just give it everything.
So it's quite clear that you were, you know, sort of interested in politics from, you know, quite a young age. But is there a particular moment that thought, okay, you know, I want to make this a career for myself?
When I was in the Youth Parliament, so the Youth Parliament's supposed to be apolitical. And when I was in the Youth Parliament, people did naturally have political opinions. There was this moment where I was standing in the full council, where all of the elected councillors were in the chamber, and I was standing there as a member of the public, asking a question on behalf of young people. And I remember vividly asking about, you know, supporting young people going through mental health issues and stuff like that. We you know, recently have had the story of Molly Russell in our local area, a young teenager who killed herself based on stuff she'd seen on social media. So, you know, I was standing there in the council, championing young people's voices, and at the end of my question, every single councillor stood up and applauded me. And everyone was saying, it's brilliant, we've got young people coming forward, young people standing up, young people speaking for their voice. That was the moment that made me go, do you know what? I really, really, really want to do this, and I really enjoy it.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. And so, fast forward a few years, you got to the 2025, not 2025, 2024 elections, right?
Yep.
So you were working already with Bob Blackman.
Yep.
You were with there. So were you sort of talk us through your role in the campaign? You were the campaign manager. Was there any sort of thoughts in your head going into the election? What is it like being a manager for a member of parliament and running a campaign, running an organisation and people managing?
Yeah, well, I don't know how many times I'll be allowed to plug a blueprint, but it literally goes through it from start to finish. It was exactly that. You know, I worked for Bob Blackman beforehand, and so I got the you know, early start. Started devising the campaign, the messages, the plans, the slogans, the leaflets, what we were going to do, and then execute it. As soon as Rishi Sunak called that election, we were ready to go. We were printing leaflets within an hour. I live near the constituency office, so as I was watching the election get called by Rishi, and the second he called the election, I went back to the office and started printing leaflets. We drummed it home, we banged on about how brilliant Bob had been as a local MP. And that is what I now do with Get Elected. Everything is about your track record. What have you done? What have you delivered? What can people open their eyes and see is down to you. It's all about what people can see. And yeah, we race through every single day, 7 days a week, 19 hours a day, through till polling day. Then polling day, I think, was 25 hours or something, you know, through to the count the next morning. Look, it was stress when you're going through it, but we had a plan, people trusted in me, we got there, and I look back at it fondly. It's opened up a whole world of opportunities for me.
So political marketing, as marketing in general says, it's a changing sphere, right?
Yeah.
I think with digital tools, sort of even with the influencer culture and sort of targeted micro messaging, the political campaigns and also the business campaigns and advertisement from maybe 5-10 years ago are completely redundant in this age. How did you look to embrace those strategies within that campaign, but also embrace new strategies as within your consultancy firm? Has that been hard? And sort of how has that transition been?
So I think one of the benefits of being a younger person is you very much have your finger on the pulse with a lot of these trends, campaigns, things like that, the new world that we're moving into. When it comes to politics, politics has to wake up. You know, campaigns are changing. People find out about their news online nowadays. Print media is effectively dead. Social media is the new form of news. I mean, I think X, for example, is the #1 app in most countries now when it comes to gathering news content. So, yeah, politics has to catch up with it. From a campaign and consultancy point of view, you know, what we're doing in Get Elected is we're embracing it. We're developing, you know, digital tools to help campaign managers track their campaigns, to help with the practicalities of running an election, especially at the count, for example. We're developing all these sorts of things to help campaign managers run and deliver better results. From my point of view, what I do is I say there is nothing better than hard graft. It takes hard work to win elections, and no one should be able to walk it. I think a lot of MPs at the last election expected that they'd be carried through and were wiped out. I mean, we had 20,000 majorities wiped out at the last election. So, no one was safe. And I think what that's done is woken people up. If you want to be a member of parliament, it's hard work. And you have to get out there, connect with your voters, knock on the doors, speak to people, as well as be there and present. You can reach more people on your phone now than you can speaking to people ever in your life. I've got videos that within a day get to 20,000, 30,000 views as a local councillor. There's no way I could knock on 20,000, 30,000 doors in a day. So politics has got to embrace it. I am doing that, and any campaign that I or my company get involved with will do that. And I only hope that more and more people start realising, well, do you know what? He's managing to win. How's he winning? He must be doing something different. But we'll see.
And it's the same. It's not just in politics, right? It's in business. It's in big, small businesses, all sorts of areas. You can't be complacent, and you have to adopt these new strategies, right? Big companies are failing at that, and smaller, more nimble companies with sort of a more youthful sort of vigor, open to these new things, are trying that out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the landscape is changing. People have got to wake up to it. I think a lot of people got wiped out at the last election. Hopefully some new green shoots will come through.
So let's play hypothetically. I'm a politician or a wannabe politician on the let's say the local stage in the UK. I come to you. What do you look for me as a potential candidate, and where can you see success in potential candidates, and where can you sense I've got a potential there, and then how do you transform those candidates into winning machines?
So I think the first thing is seeing your drive and determination. Anybody can say, oh, I want to win, or I want to stand, whatever. Are you willing to get out there and work hard? Elections are about speaking to people. It is still very much important that you speak to people, whether it's digitally or in person. Are you willing to get out there and knock on the doors? Are you willing to get out there and fight the case, deliver the leaflets, make your message heard? That's the first thing I look for, is someone actually understand how much work this is going to be. The second thing is, obviously, are they willing to take advice? Being a consultant means you are consulting for advice. And sometimes I will say things that people don't want to listen to, and people don't like to hear. I've said to candidates before, I'm really sorry, but that marketing, your campaign plan, completely out the window. I'm sorry, but it's completely... I've said things like that before to people, tell them to change entire approaches and campaigns. Some listen, some don't. And it goes hand in hand that the ones who listen and the ones who are willing to try stuff end up doing well. I think there is a lot to be said in politics about trust, right? We talk about trust between the politicians and the public, but actually also between all of us. And the way I try to do it is I say, let's have a good relationship, right? Firstly, you know me, right? Let's have an honest, decent, good relationship, open heart to heart. Let's talk about the politics and the side of things we're doing. If you can trust the person who's advising you, then suddenly you don't mind delivering those extra 10,000 leaflets, the extra bit of work. You don't mind it because you trust each other. And the one thing I can say is all of the clients that I've worked with, I've ended up with a really, really good relationship with. I mean, one of them was calling me yesterday just out of the blue to check how I was and, asking for some advice, asking for a copy of the book as well, so I need to send him a copy, actually. And then another one, he did one of the quotes on the back of my book. So, I've built a really, really good relationship with the clients that I run with, and I think that's another thing. Are you willing to work hard, and are you willing to trust me? Those two things are, what go hand in hand.
Perfect.
And do you find it sort of difficult being a young person having to deal with potentially slightly older candidates? They might have their own sort of fixated ideas, and obviously you're bringing in something new, something innovative. So is there some sort of a clash involved there?
Yep, age is but a number, but my God, people use it against you. I was the youngest councillor in our local area when I got elected by, several years to the average. I'm the youngest to, set up, I think, a consultancy company for our party for many, many years. All these sorts of things. Like, yes, people use age against you all the time. The one thing that I think cuts across is when people see that you're able to deliver. And at the moment, I have a proud track record of any campaign, any election, any by-election I've been involved with has done better than expected, right? Yes, we've won some, we've lost some, but I have always managed to deliver better than expected results. And that's what I hold hard. There must be something in what I'm saying, because clearly we're having an impact. And I think, yeah, age is a factor. Some people think they know everything. That's absolutely fine. Go face the electorate, and I hope that you still win. But a lot of people don't. And I think that's where, yes, we're seeing the old guard, as we were saying, politics is changing, campaign styles are changing, marketing's changing. The old guard is slowly moving on, and I think there is a new, younger, fresher blood coming in that understand it.
So looking more at the consultancy you work with, the startup you've done, what's it like running a startup in the modern era, right? And in this sort of very, very changing industry, right? Are you finding it difficult to balance sort of your political work with the business work of running a consultancy, and also about like managing people? How's that been?
Well, I mean, every day is a different day in politics. I guess one of the biggest difficulties about starting up a company is time. I still work full-time. I still am a local councillor. I still have lots of volunteering and other things that I do. And then I'm running a consultancy company on top of it. So time is a big factor. I love it, though. I really enjoy it. Campaigns, the nitty-gritty, that is what I love. Having a client that I can go, right, this is what we're going to do this week, this is what we're going to do next week, the data's looking like this, it's going to be like, I love it. I mean, I was there this May with our clients, tallying the sheets, looking at the votes at the count up till 1 a.m. in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning to get the result. I really enjoy that. So for me, I'm doing what I love, but yeah, time is the big issue. Managing people, I'm fine with. I enjoy it. It's quite fun. I see people as friends as much as colleagues as well. I want to look after people and make sure that we're, all in. It sounds cheesy, but we're all in this together. But I really enjoy it. But yeah, the big thing is time. There is never enough time.
It's quite a crowded space, isn't it? In this sort of this industry, and getting your name out there is it's well, not even in this industry. In many industries, it's hard. Do you think it's about getting the track record out there and showing your sort of your USP, right?
Yeah, and that is exactly it. So it is a crowded space. There are a lot of political consultancies. The difference that we have is a lot of political consultancies are. You almost have to buy your way into it. Here's the price, pay us, and then we'll start giving you the details and the information. From us, it's fun. Well, let's have a conversation. Let's see what we can do. Let's meet for a coffee. Let's have a chat. I really, really, really want to skill up other people as well. From us, yeah, it's about getting our name out there. I think we've picked a pretty good name with Get Elected. Most people type into Google, how to get elected or I want to get elected, and there we go. How convenient. But from my point of view, we're a brand as much as we are a family. Which, oh my god, that sounds even more cheesy. But I really do want to, it's all about relationships. I think genuinely, if you run a really good campaign for someone and build up a good relationship through that person will come back to you again in the future, which is exactly what business thinks. Leave a customer happy, they're likely to come back again. So, as I said, clients that I've worked for in the past are now calling me up again and again saying, oh, I've got this coming up, I've got this coming up, what would you be able to do? Could you be able to do this? That's the most important thing. And yeah, our name will get out there, we attend events and conferences, we do, things like this, we do anything we can to get our name out there, but 100%, track record is what people care about, and we at the moment have a pretty good one.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. And sort of to bring everything together, I just wanted to sort of think a bit more about like modern Britain these days. Britain's obviously changed a lot over the last few years, but over a long period of time. And Harrow as an area, it's diverse. It's got people from all across the world, all different backgrounds and things like that. Your work is in the politics, but in local government is about bringing people together. Could you kind of come up with maybe 2 or 3 key aspects or key values that you think are important for you as a representative to embody in such a diverse community where, you know, there's tensions. There's always going to be tensions in communities and between different groups, and bringing them together is not easy. So do you have sort of 3 approaches or a couple of approaches that you take to that, bringing people together and being that sort of the glue in the community?
So I really value being able to make a difference, right? Everything I do, I think about how am I making a difference. And I really, really value that. I love, it sounds stupid, but I love being a local councillor. Just getting stuff done for people, I really, really enjoy. And you are making a little bit of a difference, you know, making people happier, making their lives more pleasant, things like that. I massively, massively value communications. Sometimes just explaining stuff to people makes a difference. You know, a lot of people, when they're angry or frustrated that things aren't working, there is an answer to it, but no one's ever bothered to tell them. So, you know, really communicating things and being that middle person, say, okay, right, let's sit down and let's understand this better. You know, I've helped people before, stuff like reporting missed bin collections. They can't work it on their phones, so just taking a couple of minutes to literally stand there with them and teach them how to do it, you solve that problem, and then they know for the future. The other value that I would sort of say is never say no, or try and do as much as you can. Like, as a local councillor, this is not a full-time job, but I put in equal hours being a local councillor a week than I do with my full-time job. And I get a full-time salary for my full-time job, and you get an allowance as a councillor to cover, you know, expenses and stuff. So I genuinely love doing this, and I put in so much work into doing it. And I've now got to that point where, as I said, I cannot walk down the street without somebody recognising me, someone stopping me, someone saying, oh, you're Matthew, you're our councillor. That's what it's about. It's about... Politics is a thankless task. You get no thanks in politics. You get the pavements resurfaced, the next minute is, well, when's the road being done? You get the bin emptied, the next minute it's, yeah, but what about the grass verge? It's always another thing. But I have really tried to show people that I'm a community person, I care, and I'll work damn hard. You know, and I think that's the thing. Do what you love, and I love doing this. I absolutely love representing people, standing up for issues, championing things, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Perfect. No, thank you for that. I think that's been really, really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, just a quick question before we go, and before we let you go. So, what's the plan going forward? Is it to grow to the startup, or can we see you as a candidate a few years down the line?
Oh dear. Well, I mean, there is a lot of stuff going on in the behind the scenes. So obviously, yes, I'm building up the company at the moment. I want to get out there and run more campaigns for people, frankly. If I'm able to win, you know, other people can win, we can do this. Obviously, I've written book number 1. People are saying I should already get on with book number 2. So, you know, there might be another book. Candidacy-wise, obviously, I'm looking to stand again next year in my local ward. But people have said, you know, there are bigger and better things that I can be doing. You know, maybe looking at the London Assembly, London, having a look at, obviously, Parliament, you know, those sorts of things. Who knows? You know, someone might come out of the blue and grab me and take me over to the private sector, or offer me a role somewhere else. I don't know. All I know is right now I really, really enjoy what I'm doing. The world's my oyster. But also, you know, at the end of the day, I love doing things like this. You know, I do a lot of TV and media. I go on shows like Talk TV, GB News. You know, I love doing this as well. So, you know, who knows? There's too many plates spinning at the moment. I do hope some of them drop, because it's getting a bit unbearable keeping them all going, but I'm hoping something pulls through.
Perfect. Thank you, Matthew. It's been amazing to have a chat with you. So the book, if people are interested, they can find that online. Amazon.
You can find it on my website, mathewgoodwinfreeman.uk/book, and I'll send it over to you. It's also on Amazon as well.
Perfect. And if there's any budding candidates out there or people interested, they just have to look up. It's getelected.uk, right?
Yep, getelected.uk, and you'll see a big beautiful face, and you can message me and we'll have a chat.
Perfect. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you very much.
Guys, really great. I love talking to you as well.
Thank you so much.